Welcome to another round of Boardroom or Miro Board. Today we talk retrospectives with Agile coach Maria. Let's go. First question. You've spent 2 hours in a team retro, but the only input you've heard is Dave's. Boardroom or Miro Board?
Boardroom. In Miro, Dave can't hog the space because everyone can add thoughts anonymously, online, at the same time.
Correct. Next. You need the team to act on feedback fast, so you turn all those retro notes into Jira tasks instantly.
Miro all the way. And I can assign those tasks to teammates.
You're nailing this. Now, you see hundreds of sticky notes from the retro. A real mess. But you organize them into 5 themes in just seconds.
Miro, I basically get back an entire hour when I use its AI tools for clustering.
And she's done it.
Join over 60 million people running actually enjoyable and actionable retros in Miro. Get your first 3 boards free at Miro.com. That's Miro.com.
Feeling sluggish or weighed down? Could be a sign that you are not getting enough daily fiber. Metamucil's fiber helps promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. It gels to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Get better digestive health for a better you with this easy way to get more fiber. Find Metamucil at your local CVS. This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Welcome to Wisconsin in Focus. I'm J.D. Davidson. The attention focused on Milwaukee Public Schools continues to grow in both volume and intensity. Millions could be potentially lost. Audits are underway. The superintendent resigned, and now board members could face a recall election. Joining us today is Ben Yount, Wisconsin contributor for the Center Square. Ben, tell us where things stand with Milwaukee Public Schools right now.
Well, right now means right now, because by the end of this podcast, by the end of today, we could have a whole other new development. And this is when it comes to something like education or local government, this is one of the fastest moving stories that I've seen in years. And you rarely have these, all right, here it is on Friday. Okay, well, here it is on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But it's like a bad onion that you just sort of peel back and, okay, now we got this, and now we got this, and now we got this. Where we stand here ending this week is the fallout continues. That this all began, it began back in April, when voters approved this $250 million tax increase, $252 million referendum. And there were an awful lot of parents in MPS who were upset with that. They had kids in school. They saw what they thought they weren't getting. And so they started to question, why do we need this? Can you give us something more than just your word? As we progressed towards a vote on a brand new school budget, which, by the way, Milwaukee Public Schools have $1.5 billion annual budget, $1.5 billion with a B spent every year. Well, came out that this budget, which, by the way, they're going to vote on tonight as we tape Thursday, it was going to cut nearly 300 people, including a couple of hundred teachers. Just a handful of administrators, but more teachers were to be cut. And again, parents were very upset. They said, wait, you raised our taxes with the promise that you wouldn't have to make these cuts. Why are there no cuts down at the district office? Well, right before we got a vote, the word leaked out, the word came out. The Department of Public Instruction, the state, made it clear that Milwaukee Public Schools hadn't been doing their paperwork. A required audit and an approved budget still were months late. These were things that were due in September and December of last year. That kicked off the resignation of the superintendent. And now you're starting to see the focus turn towards Milwaukee's elected school board. And Wednesday night, a group of parents and advocates, many who have been very vocal throughout this entire process, said that they're launching a recall effort. And Wisconsin is rife with recalls lately. The Robin Voss recall number 2 continues on. But You go, you get enough signatures, you talk to enough voters, you say, hey, do you want to have a new election, kick these people out of office perhaps? And yes, they're going forward with that. We're also waiting to see what Milwaukee's actually going to do and fix the problems that it has. The latest action plan update is that it's going to take months for MPS to finally get those months late financial reports to the state. They've already missed one special ed payment worth $17 million. There's no guarantee that Milwaukee Public Schools won't miss more payments, again, going towards school in September. And so the latest is more of the same, but more anger. And this time it's focused at the people who are elected, not just appointed. And I would expect that the next wave of anger comes to the bureaucrats in Madison, the governor, the Department of Public Instruction, and the people who were supposed to be overseeing Milwaukee Public Schools. And the question is going to just simply be, how did it get this bad for this long? Who didn't say something months ago, particularly before the vote on this referendum?
Let's talk a little bit about the potential for a recall election. Wisconsin has the opportunity to do that. Texas does. I think most states probably do, but you rarely hear about those things, except in Wisconsin. It seems to be more popular. Walk me through the process, and then how many board members are they targeting, I guess is the right word.
Yeah, half, including the president of the school board, the vice president of the school board, and 2 local members. The idea is the advocates say those are the most vocal. Those are the school board members that these parents, these advocates feel misled everyone else. And so they're quite bothered at these 4. Recall, as anyone who has lived in Wisconsin, for the past decade plus remembers, became famous with Scott Walker.
Sure.
And it's a relatively straightforward approach, and it's one that's actually dictated by the voters. It is perhaps one of the most purely democratic things that you can do. You go and you ask voters, do you want to have another election for this office? And if enough people sign up, then certainly you can move forward. Then you have the election. Voters get to have a say. Again, could be the same candidates, but this puts it all in the hands of voters. And that's going to be the difficult part here for this MPS recall. First of all, they're going to have to get somewhere between a little over 5,000 and about 44,000 signatures, depending on which candidate, which school board member they want to recall. The local members, it's 5, 6, 7,000 because it's a percentage of the vote. Citywide, there's 1 elected school board member. And for her, these recall advocates are going to have to get 44,000 signatures. Now, the good part is that they can get those signatures citywide. All of the other signatures have to come from the district in which that school board member is elected. So it's an awful lot of very technical, very specific legwork. And anger sometimes doesn't lead to actual execution. This is what we've seen with the attempts to recall Robin Vos. They can get a lot of signatures, but you got to make sure that they're valid, that they're from people in the district, that they're from registered voters, that all manners of things. And so that's going to be the biggest hurdle. The other hurdle, and this was the sort of obvious question, the advocates and parents last night said they did not have a slate of candidates. They don't really have anyone who's ready to roll to step up and say, I'll run for office. Here's what I'm going to do if you elect me. So they have to get the signatures. The signatures have to be all but perfect because election laws are written like that. And then they have to find someone who wants to run and find someone who's going to pay to make this happen because, as you know, as we write about all the time, elections aren't cheap. And particularly these sort of snap elections that are going to happen in an election cycle. We're already headed towards the August primary, already headed towards the November election. A lot of the commercial time in Milwaukee and Wisconsin's been bought out. So it's going to be a rather large hill for these advocates to climb. But again, it shows a difference. You don't usually see in a Democratic city Democratic voters rebelling against Democratic candidates. And so even if they fail, even if they fall short, even if the signatures don't materialize, it really is something. There is a story here about what does it take to get parents fed up to the point where they say, no more. We've got to have a change.
This, as we promised for the last 4 weeks, this is an issue that will not go away. Ben, thanks for joining us today. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com.
Welcome to another round of Drawing Board or Miro Board. Today we talk brainstorms with UX designer Brian. Let's go. First question. You thought you'd see everyone's idea in the team brainstorm, but you've got a grand total of 1. Drawing board or Miro board?
Drawing board, right? Because in Miro, the team can add ideas now or later. And with privacy mode, we can keep them anonymous until they're good to share.
Correct. Next, you need the best way to explain your idea, but all you have is a few sticky notes. Drawing board or Miro board?
Drawing board, because, in Miro, I could record videos, add text, images, links, and digital sticky notes, of course, present my thoughts the way I want.
Right again. Now, you're looking for a past idea you thought was just genius. Only you could find... Oh, there it is. Drawing board or...
Miro! All our finished and unfinished work lives in one place.
And he's won.
Join over 60 million people getting ideas noticed in Miro brainstorms. Get your first 3 boards for free at Miro.com. That's Miro.com.
Feeling sluggish or weighed down? Could be a sign that you are not getting enough daily fiber. Metamucil's fiber helps promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. It gels to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Get better digestive health for a better you with this easy way to get more fiber. Find Metamucil at your local CVS. This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.